Hello, everybody. You all are able to hear me? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Very nice. Myself, BK Nayak. So I am going to teach some next 9 lectures on research methodology to you. And for last 3 lectures, we are hearing Professor B.S. Tomar, where he started with teaching us research philosophy from historical point of view. And also he described different type of research, like he showed Bohr quadrant, Pasteur quadrant, and Edison quadrant, and to highlight applied research and curiosity driven research. Also he talked about directed research and also curiosity driven research, what I told. And also he described various experimental methods that are being adopted to carry out research. Today, I will be some sort of a summarizing maybe last 3 lectures in a certain way, but in a contemporary context. So he was more into historical, context. So I will take you to more contemporary context, and we will ask some very basic questions. Really, whether this research methodology we will need to study. This is a question we have to address, because I have done my PhD, but I never did research methodology. Also, I have guided student, and they have also done PhD without research methodology. But then why we are doing it? You will maybe you will see after the end of this course. Once you do research methodologies, then you become your study will be more focused, and it will be more coherent, and your research time will be optimized, and you will have a better feeling once you complete your PhD. I'm sure these things you are going to feel, because it is very essential when we do anything. First, I have to ask the question to me, whether I am wasting my time or I am doing something worth. This is, any subject you take up, this question you should ask. That will give you, motivated to study the subject, because sometimes it is told it is a requirement from UGC, so we are doing this. But really, I don't like that statement. Rather, we should demonstrate, and we should show the importance of research methodology in research. So that is what I now will try to drive home today. So in today's lecture, it would have been nice to have a group discussion, because to know how contemporary research is being done, that can be best done by a group discussion, so that everybody can express their feelings, and from there we can develop a consensus, and we know what are the steps right now we are taking to do our research, and when this research methodology comes, in which areas this research methodology is going to help us. So today I have prepared in such a way so that we will mainly concentrate on contemporary research. How we do our research, or go for a PhD degree in university or in institutes. So right now, the way we are doing, I will discuss on that, and subsequent lectures, when you really go to research methodology, then you will able to identify which are the area, which are the places research methodology is going to help you. So start with, we'll discuss a little bit what is research. Then we will see what is the student's responsibility in research and also responsibility of a guide. Then in general, we will see student and guide relationship. And during the research, how do you deal with the failures? That's a very important aspect. And also, we'll see the teamwork in the research. In the research, teamwork is very important. So that also we'll see. And when you do something in research, how you own the research, that is ownership and honesty in research. These are the points we will basically address today. And let me start with the writing. What is PhD? So PhD we write P, sorry, H, maybe I got a minute. What is that? Let me again write PhD. When you, this is an abbreviation, but when you expand it, this says Doctor of Philosophy. What do you mean by doctor? This is one of the highest degree that one can get in a subject. It means that you have mastered a specific area of study. And what do you mean by philosophy? This is, I was looking Google, it says love of wisdom. This means wisdom. Then I again looked, what is wisdom? This says the quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Or you can say in short, quality of being wise. So PhD means it's a highest degree with a recognition that you have experience, you have knowledge, and and good judgment. Or in short, you can say quality of being wise. That means you are a wise person. This is what is defined as a PhD. But then, how this PhD is different from your graduate and undergraduate studies? Because PhD is a basically PhD is a research-based degree. Whereas if you go to undergraduate, what do you do? You just that is a place of learning, because there are undergraduates. It's your boundary is well defined. We have a certain syllabus and certain time frame, and you have to read that, and all of you can get good mark if you answer the same thing. But in research, every thesis is different. That means, while I can say that undergraduate degree is uh, it's a basically learning. You learn what is written in the book. But a research degree like PhD is something where you add new knowledge. Whatever is known, you are going to add, more to that. That way, you can say your undergraduate degree is different from PhD. And while, as I told, your undergraduate or graduate degree, your course is fixed. You know what you want to study and how to give exam. But when it comes to PhD, the research is hedgy. You don't know what will happen to your when you start doing research. Then in that case, it is only the your passion and your drive to do research that that is only that motivates you to take up. I know this is a research is basically searching for learning and for discovery. Research is basically searching for learning and discovery. Let me write this. This is a very important point. Research is searching for learning and discovery. Okay, so this is but whereas in case of undergraduate degree, you just are learn and whatever you have learned that if you can put it in a very proper way, you will get good marks. So let us share this quote by Albert Einstein at this stage. If we know what we are doing, it would not be called so. Basically, research is something you contribute new. If newness is there, then only it is called research. We'll also subsequently will see more detail. But this is what is research. And you have research, two types. One is incremental and is path-breaking research. Most of the time, we do incremental research. That means you learn certain thing, then you do research, and you add something new to that. This is what is called incremental research. Most of the research are incremental research. Path-breaking research are when you do incremental research, maybe you will sometimes someday you will do a path-breaking research. So, for example, path-breaking means understanding subatomic particle. You need different equation of motion like Schrodinger equation rather than normal Newton equation of motion. or you know gravitational force in a general theory of gravity, where time has been also included as a parameter, including space. So that's sort of a totally new concept, which these type of research are called usually path-breaking research. Otherwise, most of times we do what you do are they are incremental research. In a in a in a undergraduate or graduate course, you only answer. You will ask question and you answer. But when it comes to research, that question also you have to ask and answer also you have to get. And when you do research, there are certain mundane work you have to do in a research. Like you have to select your research area and guide advisor. So the first point let us consider, select research area. How do you do that? You need a guide for research in the area you want to work. So it is you very important you select your guide appropriately, because you must have a mental compatibility with the person with whom we are going to do research. Because suppose you want to do in theoretical research, then you go a person who is doing theory. If you want to do experimental research, then you go to a person who is involved in experimental work. And when you go to a guide is a person with whom with a you are going to spend your largest amount of time in your the whole career, like minimum 5 years you have to spend with a single person, and also with a single subject you have to work. So choosing an advisor is very important. You have to frankly discuss with the guide, and about your research interest, and your aptitude, and also when you select a topic, how you select. Sometimes in your undergraduate or graduate you like certain subject, so maybe when you grow up and join for to get a PhD, you sometimes like to do research on that particular field, or sometimes some professor he teaches very well, so you like his way of teaching or his subject. Sometimes you also get impressed and also join for PhD with him. Other than that, suppose some of the topics which has got impact in our surroundings. Suppose these days if you ask, maybe quantum computing will be a subject. Anybody will be interested to take. So when you are selecting a topic, you take research as a it's a challenge. So to select a topic and guide, you have to be really very you have to do a lot of homework, and to make sure that you want to do research and proper groundwork to select area of research and guide. First of all, you have to be sure that you want to do research, and once you have done that, then you have to select a topic and guide. That is the most important part of the whole research. And then once you have selected a topic and opted a guide, so what is the role of a guide? So do you expect that day-to-day basis the guide will interact with you? Normally, it is not the case. It is not that you do something, then you go to the guide and tell him that, okay, you had asked me to do this yesterday, and I have finished. Tell me what I will do the next. So research is it's not like a mission mode. So there are SOPs available, steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you just follow those SOPs, and then your PhD is done. No, not like that. Uh, uh, Only guide is important in your you have to keep exploring your own study, and guide comes into picture when you are lost. Then only the role of guide comes. Guide is to steer you, and when you have some result, interpret the result. Otherwise, you should try to find out yourself, your problem. You have to solve your problem yourself. That is the best way to do research. And sometimes what happens when you fix a guide and go for work, some guide they will tell you which area is interesting, and they will say, okay, these areas are interesting. You can select one of the area. And some guides will suggest that you read 10 papers and then solve the 11th paper. Then we'll do other things. That is how we'll do research. And some may say, go read, it is a new area, some area they will say, and go and read that. So, there are sometimes, in a nutshell, sometimes, your guide gives you problem. Guide says you do this. This is your research problem. And but the right way of doing research is you should find your own research topic. That will be the best way to do research. Only you can take suggestion from him, but you should do. And sometimes when a student they don't like the second option. What I told, that they may suggest you solve the 10 paper and 11th paper. Solve 11th, read 10 paper and solve the 11th paper, then come. So, but that student may not like, because they don't want to be confined to certain only selected field they want to explore, and find out their own problem. But ultimately it is finally depend on the student and what he wants to do. Either he wants to find his own problem, or he would like to take the suggestion of the guide. It's subject to the student. And there are some question comes sometimes, whether to do research, is the student to be super intelligent and hardworking? This question comes. But really, student is not required to have knowledge, but interest. For doing research, student, is not required to have knowledge, but it must have interest. Interest and excitement of learning. The student must have excitement of learning. Okay. And when you are interacting with your guide, you have to, day-to-day basis guide will not be available, because they are busy. So only you have to find time and share your result with the guide. And sometimes guide in a meeting, guide may tell you, hey, why don't you, for sake of fun, try this, and then let us see. So sometimes you can do that, and sometimes even you can think of on your own some study to be done, and you can do on your own, and then go to the guide and tell that I have done this. That is also that is anyway, that will be better. So and always when you are meeting a guide, you prepare a proper note, so that what are the work you have done, and what are the steps you have followed. Because when you discuss with your guide, they don't have infinite number of time, but they have limited time. So, and you maybe once in a week, if you meet your guide, that is more than enough. And initially the guide is the knowledgeable one, then the student. Initially, uh, the guide is the but once you when you start finishing towards finishing of your thesis, then student it is the student maybe towards the end. It is the infinity with the student who is expert. And maybe that is the time you are ready to submit your thesis. Once you uh, say that your knowledge on the field is more than your guide, that is the time uh, you have you are ready to submit your thesis. So it is important to develop a good attitude as a student, research student. You have to develop a good attitude uh, uh, in research. You should develop a healthy attitude on keeping long-term objective. Uh, moving forward and in an incremental way. So when you do research, do in a small step. It's not that one day you can finish everything. You have 5 years given to you. So, but every day you do slowly. Uh, there is something called obsessive compulsion disorder. Because one student asked one day some questions, so I thought, let me little bit elaborate on this. Something called obsessive compulsive disorder. This means where a person wants something and they want immediately. And with a smallest obstacle, the student is totally away from it. So that type of attitude a student should not develop. That means be patient, not become a patient while you are doing your PhD. Be patient, that is where you have time to think and come out with postulates. Suppose you are doing some work and then you always think about that. Why it is this, why not that way? You explore all the possibilities. And then, when you have everyday thinking slowly, then you can think new postulates and new findings. Persistent thinking, that is what you have to persistently go on thinking, and also you explore what other people are doing in the field, in your field, what difference you can make. In a textbook, you learn. In research-based degree, you ask what more can be done as the right question. That means in a book, no, you just learn what is written there. But when you are doing research, you learn and then ask what more can be done. And while doing research, it's a chaotic process. A lot of problem may come, but you have to go through the chaos before the clarity comes. When you get your results, you will forget all the chaos you have gone through. joy of discovery. I know every researcher look for this moment. So you should be patient. Some of the activities which are integral part of a research student is uh, this is very important aspect. Like you always keep note about everyday activity. Take feedback from advisor. 3, learn from your mistakes. Ready for 80%. I will tell this. What is this? 80% routine work and 20% exciting time. This routine work is very important. Do not overlook routine works. This makes your experience go up. Sir, in a research, there will be a lot of times you will be doing some routine work. That is correct. Only 20% time you do exciting work. Most of times, you doing suppose you are doing experimental research, then preparing sample, preparing experiment. So visiting workshop to develop some, some particular instrument or some experimental component. So you do all these things. They are routine works, but you cannot avoid this. This is this is part of the your research, and from there you learn many things. When you do experimental research, you collect data. Uh, why data is like this? Analyzing that is research. Sometimes you may start out with a well-defined problem. In a research, what happens? Sometimes you may start with a well-defined problem. You may find some other problem more interesting to pursue. So then you can, your problem definition is subject to change. You can also change your problem, but this you can only do at the early part of your research, because otherwise you can't do this at the towards the end of your research. Some of the things we discussed can be seen in the quotation I'm writing. The true laboratory is the mind, where behind illusion we we uncover the laws of truth. True laboratory's mind, it is you have to do everything. Where behind illusion, we uncover the laws of the truth. So it's a very important code. What we all discuss is, can be summarized here. So then, how to deal with a failure in research? Dealing with a failure. When you do a research, failure is, it's a very common. Suppose you do a experiment, it may not work. Something, uh, you did something, you expected that this should be like this, but it is not coming. And research is basically some sort of like a, research is a random walk. Research is, sometimes you go forward, then you realize, oh, it is a mistake, what I did. Then again, you come back. Uh, there can be, even if, your experimental can be experimental failure, or, even you do everything and you write a paper, then when you submit for publication, then your paper may be getting rejected. You may face, this is very common to face, publication failure also. Dealing with this type of failure, you need to really be cool and talk to your guide and your lab mates. If there is a failure, you are free to change your assumptions. Maybe some experimental you expected it should come like this, it is not coming. So then maybe you look into your assumptions, whether what you assume that it should be like this, whether there is some problem with that. Sometimes, this failure can be a success. Suppose you start with a failure, but that failure can be, there are n number of examples where, failures has been a success. Also, when you read a research paper, uh, then you see those papers are written very, structured way. But behind each paper, there are many failures. Those failures, they never write. And with the sequence you do your work, when it comes to publication, so they are not written in the sequence, they are done. So, when you don't feel, this paper they have done such a nice way, why my thing is not coming. But, it is not always like that, the way we see the papers are published. Papers are basically, uh, after a lot of failure, they get certain result. But then when they're writing, they write in a very structured way. Similarly, when you are going to read papers, you don't have to read really everything, but only relevant things, relevant part of your interest. And always read, recent work and be result oriented while doing research. And always it is good to reproduce some result, that has come in the paper. If they have missed something, then you have a chance to do it. And being a student, you always, sometimes students think that I will first learn everything by reading, then I will go for research. That's not the right way to do. You can, read and do experiment simultaneously. Today I was talking to one of my colleague. He told that when he first joined in a PhD, his guide asked him to read a book, particular book, and then after that he told you read and come back. Then he read the book, And then he went back and told, okay, I read, but I could only understand, 10% of it. And then he told, okay, don't worry. Then he asked him to do some experiment so that, get trained about, little bit about physics. He did that, 3, 4 months. Then he again told, okay, you can go back and read that paper again. What I want to tell you that when parallelly do multitasking, then you understand better, and also simultaneously you can do your research work, and also you can improve your learning. So these two things you should take simultaneously. And whenever you get anything new result, you feel always, whatever small it may be, because small work only one day add up to make a big one. Uh, and you must believe that even if you get some result, you believe on that, so that you do a lot of cross studies, and qualitatively you understand, okay, this will follow this, and you must believe on your work. And even if it is a small work, you tell your guide and friends, and you feel proud of that whenever doing any new result, a new work we are doing. You feel proud of that, because when you go and tell your guide and your friends, this way means you are thinking a lot about the work, and that way, and you are trying to how to improve upon it. So sometimes, you think, whether whatever I have done, whether that work is result are right, or it's significant for publication or not. So this, you can do by what is called peer community of your area. So, and also you can uh, because there are journals where you can send paper, and you can get their their comments, that will help you to know whether you have done your work. Or you can give seminars, and in your group you can make presentation and take your their comments. And it is not that the paper cannot be published. It is not a democratic process. Suppose a large number of people are telling, okay, your research is good, that means it is good. No, even one expert can comment and tell that your research is wrong. So that will be wrong. So it is always, you should make presentation in front of your peers and your research community, and take their feedback, and then you know that this work is good or not. Then you submit to a journal, get their comment. Uh, then only you know whether work is significant and or not. And in a research, any research, teamwork is very important, because you will be working in a group where there will be people to whom you will be teaching. There will be junior to you, and there will be people from whom you will be learning. So so you always uh, have to participate in group activities. When there is any group activity, you must participate. So by that way, you will improve your interaction with people, and also you can learn from each other. Never, in research, isolate yourself. You always interact with people. So there is a quotation from Isaac Newton. It says, "If I have seen further than others, uh, it is because I have on the shoulders shoulders, shoulders of giants. Okay, because this is basically this captures the teamwork in grandeur. But in our case, we can have teamwork in a group that is in a local scale and learn from each other. And it is always good to join a active group when you are selecting a group where to join. It's always good to join an active group where a lot of work is going on, and you can get a good chance to learn. Isaac Newton. Ownership of then next comes ownership of research. You should be most critical of your research work. When you have done some research, yeah, you should be the most critical. So all the aspect you must look whether you have not committed any mistake anywhere, so that you are getting this result. So you must look all possibilities, and then you it's you know uh, then only you report that this research has been done. So, and always you must be honest enough to tell how you have done your research. You must tell that very clearly, so that people can point out whether you have not missed something, or you have not done some mistake anywhere. So you should discuss this your work with other people and the way you have done, and so that there should not be any mistake on this. So honesty with yourself, you should be there. Then also you must, when you are doing the work, you must see the, you see, in general, there is no result is final. Yeah, so what you have to do. It is not that the result you have given, that means that is the end of that field. That field is not going to end there. So you have only done something and you are reporting, and then you have to look qualitative consistent. Your result, whatever you have got, is qualitatively consistent, and also you should see repetitively. When you do repetitively, you are getting the same result. So that way you can be uh, you know you have to be very honest in research. So at the end, I must say that you must be able to answer why you are doing research. When you do research, you must have to be self motivation to do your research. So you must convince yourself whether this doing research I am enjoying or not. So that is something you have to first convince yourself. Okay, I will do research because I like it, or uh, I'm enjoying it. So I think this is one thing that you should do always. Make sure that you enjoy what you are doing. So I think with this we'll end today, and we have 10 minutes, so 7 minutes with us. So I like you to ask questions. Maybe this lecture would have been better to have more interactive session. So I would like you to ask questions. We'll see, and I'll try to answer. Okay. It down in chat box. चैट बस देखिए Hmm. Rinalini joined the meeting. Question नहीं पूछा? हाँ हाँ. What are the important points to be read in a research article? Uh, yeah, this is question from Hiranya. So usually, when you start your research and you look for go for reading research papers, I can tell you what I used to do those days when I joined in research. Sometimes it is very difficult to understand whole of the paper. If we, as you go on doing research, you start slowly understanding the things. So initially, suppose your research topic. Now it is best to read similar looking titles in upcoming articles or recently published articles. And if you can understand titles of a paper recently come, then you go to the abstract. If you can also abstract, if you are able to understand the abstract, then you go inside the, how it has been done and what are the conclusion. And many times, what happens, abstract is not, understandable when you start initially. Then don't worry, forget it. So maybe with time, slowly, you will able to understand. So that is how you do, because the portion you want to read from a paper is what you understand. If I understand, then I will. If I understand whole paper, I will go on reading. So it's all depend your interest, your topic of research, and then your reading. Okay, just curious to know, sir, why PhD students are called uh, graduate students in Institute of why? Here we refer this. Yeah, this is a question also. I ask myself, but I don't know. It is maybe just a convention. They say something, and it's nothing very special. It's just the way they say. I don't think if you have answered it, you can also pass on to me, particularly this question. Can you also present the failure in a paper and yet get it? Yeah. This is a good question. Invariably, when you write a paper first time, there are very good chance of seeing the failure. But at that time, what I have to do, I have to take seriously all those comments that have, suggested by the referee. So what I have to do, I have to look into those. First of all, I have to take all those comments in a positive way, and I must think this. I'm going to. It is going to improve my paper. So each of those questions you address. And this thing we have done, by experience, we have done many times. Sometimes the way you write your English may not be that good to convince the referee. Is he not able to understand? There are many reasons. Sometimes your paper may be rejected. I will tell you. Sometimes if you can, whatever work you have done, you have to put it in a very simple language so that a person can easily understand it. That is very important. If your English and your explanation and with a table and with appropriate figure you put, then even a small work can be a small finding, may not be big finding, a small finding. I used to tell my student and college that first when you want to write a paper, you tell me what is your motivation, why you want to write this paper. If you can write a motivation properly, I will bet your paper will be published. So it's all that means you take the comments seriously and work on that, and accordingly all those suggestions you include. You see, you will get a positive result. Next क्या है? Can you publish research without being affiliated to any university? This question I cannot answer you with certainty, but without affiliation, I think you cannot publish. Without affiliation, your work has no authenticity. And suppose I can tell you one incident. One person, he was with us here from abroad, from Gulf countries, and he worked with us and did his PhD. But he went back and tried to write a paper without mentioning any institute name where he has done this work. So then a referee has to, because he had told that Peloton Linac accelerator facility, Mumbai, but no author from this place were there in the authors list. So that paper was not published. The editor asked us whether this work has been done. Then we told, okay, it has been done, but as he's not putting anybody's name, then don't publish it. So they didn't publish. So without affiliation, I don't think you can publish a paper, because it has no authenticity. Who is the person sending this paper? Then, yeah, you can publish this. Yeah, there are many papers where negative results are also published. That is that is there, because that's a hypothesis. You started with certain hypothesis that this is my hypothesis, but you got totally opposite. But then you have to really convince that what you have got is correct. So that you have to do all consistency of your test of your result, repeatability, and all those things. Once you do all those tests, then you can publish. There is nothing called negative or positive. Result is a result. Just curious to know, sir, why PhD students are called? Next. अच्छा हो गया. Also, sir, we have been doing question answer and syllabus oriented studies for almost 20 years. How do you now cope up with the uncertain and unstructured research based study in the short span of less than 5 years? I don't, I'm not understanding exactly what you want to ask. This is what is research. Structured study is gone up to your maybe BSc, MSc. That is you have done. That is what I spent a lot of time. I'm just explaining what is undergraduate studies and what is research. There your scope is fixed. That this is the book you have to read, learn, and answer. But in the research, you of course you have to contribute something new. So that is how research is all about. So you have to contribute something new to the knowledge. You have to add something new to the knowledge. So you have 5 years time, and if you are really passionate about doing research, I think you can do it. That's not a problem. Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have another question to everybody. So I am doing with a, I'll use this pad only for all my lectures. Is it okay for you guys, or you want a PowerPoint and things like that? So anybody can answer to this slide. Maybe writing I have to improve 2, 3.
Writing bad is
Okay, no? Sir, it's okay. Okay, thank you. See you on Wednesday. Thank you all. थोड़ा रिटर्न में थोड़ा इम्प्रूव करना पड़ेगा. कॉफी के साला इसमें लग जाता है, वो खा जाता है.